Key to see here. It has been 5 years since we did our YouTube video that you guys were such big fans of, the pros and cons of Gig Harbor. Is it a dream town or a little overrated?
Yeah, we're going to talk about what has changed, what has stayed the same, and even get into some of the things that no one really talks about Gig Harbor.
Okay, so let's start with what we feel is our biggest pro. Small town charm with big town perks. Downtown is very charming, walkable, full of locally owned shops, boutiques, restaurants.
Yeah, they don't allow any chains downtown, so it maintains that cool vibe, but some would also consider that a con because they like going to McDonald's.
But there, it's here. It is here.
It is here, yeah. Right up Peacock Hill, you have Home Depot, Costco, all the big box stores that you need for everyday life, and Target as well.
Obviously, being here in Gig Harbor, everyone knows we're surrounded by water. There's pretty much countless activities to be doing out there. We have boat launches, there's crabbing, fishing, beaches, parks near the water.
Paddleboarding, canoeing, kayaking.
Yep.
Yeah, we even have clubs for that. For the younger kids, there's a canoe and kayak club, and then there's a
Dragon boats.
dragon boats. Yeah,
I sent my kids to boat camp this summer. They went and learned how to tie knots, drive boats, dock boats.
Very
They
cool.
built little boats. So
little sail.
Oh, that is so cute when they have the sail school out there. So yes, there's tons of ways to enjoy the water, whether it's on a motorboat, sailboat, or a paddle boat. But
within the water
yeah,
enjoyment, there are a few cons. We kind of lack in the department of boat launches. We do have a brand new boat launch downtown that's great, but it is kind of packed at times. We don't have gas in the harbor, so you do have to travel over to Tacoma. There's a couple different options within a 10-minute boat ride.
so plan ahead.
Yep.
And if you want to keep your boat here, the marinas are really full.
They are full. There's some waiting lists and then tying up. What about public tie-up spots? Do you do that?
Yeah,
Is that hard to come by?
Jarosich is a great spot to tie up and actually enjoy the concerts during the summer too.
So get there early, though. I imagine they're not easy to get. The
It's a
spots
day
a
or
day early. Plan ahead. Again,
Come
plan.
with an anchor.
Oh,
Get
there you
an
go.
work out. Make sure you do it on the right side of the harbor then.
Yeah, the harbor is divided. One side is downtown Gig Harbor. The other side is Pierce County. So you can anchor on the Pierce County side.
Things to know. And if you need more information on that, you can directly message us. We'll be happy to help and deep dive into that too.
My favorite pro about Gig Harbor is we are a really close-knit, strong community, and really that's because of our awesome community events. So the spring and summer kind of kicks off with the Maritime Gig Festival, and that includes a big parade. I think they also have a contest for the best parade float for that one.
Sure do.
And then that Sunday is the blessing of the fleet. That is when the priest goes out on a boat and blesses all of the fishing boats where they go up to Alaska.
Yeah, it turns out to be quite an event. People gather on those fishing boats, around the fishing boats, on the shore.
Yeah, the whole harbor is packed with boats, and then the shore is just shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
All weekend long, really.
Yeah, it's a great weekend.
Really kind of all summer long we have so many awesome events. You have the waterfront farmers market every Thursday. I think we're like the only ones in Washington that you can boat to.
Yeah. The concerts in the park on Tuesdays. There are outdoor theaters. There's actually a number of venues in town, spots in town where they do outdoor concerts, and those are
So many.
so fun. Really, really fun.
Downtown.
Zamel. Yeah, so there's always something to do in the summertime if you're just looking for something aside from just floating on the water. A lot of community events and a lot of pride in being from Gig Harbor.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that people pick up really quick, even if they're just new to town.
And in the fall, we have the Sip and Stroll and the Gig Harbor Film Festival.
Yes, and the cider swig. The cider swig, too.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big one.
And then for Halloween, they completely shut down downtown for trick-or-treating.
Some epic neighborhoods for trick-or-treating, too.
Yeah.
Full-size candy bars.
Big time.
Kids friends from Seattle come down and bring their kids because it's truly like the place to be for Halloween.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And then you roll into wintertime, and that's really kind of marked by the Christmas festivities downtown, the holiday festivities, and the lighting of the tree, and
The lighted boat and car parade. So everyone lights their boats up and is around the harbor in circles, and it's just a good hangout time. Again, packed with boats in the harbor all through the night.
Feels like every year there's something added to what's going on in town during December. And so now there's this really neat place where you can go get pictures with Santa, all these different photo opportunities that are very festive. I think there's just no shortage of things to do, or people willing to put effort and time into the events that go on here. Such a huge part of the community and the root of Gig Harbor is the fact that it started as a Croatian fishing village hundreds of years ago in the 1800s, and it exists as one even today.
Yeah, and part of the way they preserve that is with the Harbor History Museum. So you can walk through and it shows you step by step when people migrated here, what our population was originally, how it's grown, and it's pretty incredible to go look through.
It's a beautiful building.
Really?
They've done a great job, and the exhibits rotate, and there's a lovely boat that they've restored that's there on display. It's absolutely worth a stop.
And it's so fun for the kids.
It is, and they do change it up a little bit, so even if you've been, you should check back.
But this is a pros and cons video. So the con about having all of these amazing events downtown is parking is not great downtown.
Yeah.
I do have some shuttling going on, and the community is really working on some solutions for that.
Yeah.
But I think
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
So in our last pros and cons video, we had talked about as one of our big pros that there was a $200 million bond that passed to add 2 elementary schools and renovate 4 middle schools and elementary schools.
Yeah.
So since then, we added 2, renovated 4.
Which they under-promised and over-delivered. Originally, they were going to add 2 elementary schools, remodel 2 schools, and they ended up remodeling 4, which is a big deal.
It is. It really is a big deal. And if I was going to be a little bit of a negative Nelly, there's a con here, and that is just that it didn't quite have enough in the funds to cover the high schools. So they could use a little TLC for sure. They're a bit of a 1980s time capsules, Saved by the Bell-esque inside. And one might mistake Gig Harbor High School for the women's penitentiary, because there is one of those in town too. But don't be mistaken, the high school is not the penitentiary.
And the test scores are still there. You're doing good.
What's going on inside the schools? Solid.
Yes.
But we do love the women's prison. They do have a great pet partnership program.
They do.
Our dog gets boarded there and gets groomed there, and he loves it. So.
And they take dogs that are good candidates for service dogs and go to great lengths to train them so that they can go out with the field and be service dogs. And that's pretty amazing.
So one of the cons we have in Gig Harbor, arguably a con,
Yeah.
is that there's not much nightlife. There are city ordinances downtown to be shut down by 10 or 11. Walkability isn't great in the greater Gig Harbor area.
Yeah.
Downtown walkability is great, but it's just a quiet harbor town, so there isn't a ton of nightlife.
And that could be a pro for some. So you have your choice there.
But you can cross the bridge,
Yeah.
and I'm usually a little fast on time. I'd say 15 minutes to Tacoma?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
10, 15-minute drive, and you have nightlife. You have more restaurants, more options, and
I just drove by the Tacoma Comedy Club earlier today, dropping my son off for track camp. So there's all kinds of different options over there that we may not have here. But we do have charming locations like Heritage Distillery, Seven Seas, some brew tasting rooms, and places to enjoy. They're just probably going to be closed by 9.
yeah.
So while it is a sleepier town, that might be a pro for someone. So you have the choice. And if you're looking for something a little more lively,
You should cross the bridge and go to Tacoma.
Yeah.
My husband and I have lots of favorite nightlife spots over there. The McMinimans.
they stay open a little later. There's just a few more options.
It's a tiki bar. You can't go wrong.
Tiki bar is fun. So there's things to do here. And if you want to stay out later, you cross the bridge.
Or if you're a foodie, cross the bridge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we have some nice options. There's just not as many choices.
We're lacking a little bit over here
Mhm.
for food options.
But it seems to be getting better. And I know there's a lot of people that are honing in on improving the food scene here. So we're here to support them.
Since our last video, a growing con is traffic in this area is getting a little bit worse. You should time your drive, especially if you're going up to Seattle or Tacoma, or for that matter, coming back.
Yeah, that can make a big difference. And so we are starting to see traffic backing up on the Narrows Bridge as you're pulling into town as early as 3:30 into the 5:30 range, kind of into that rush hour time. And something to keep in mind, given that we are located where we are, and we have those fabulous Narrows bridges, we do have a toll. So you pay the toll when you're heading east toward Tacoma. So it's a one-way toll, but it is $5 That's with the good to go pass. And you'll pay more if you don't pull over when they have to send you the bill, or when you don't pay through. $7 if they have to send you the bill. But there's also the option to pay with the cashiers there. All that to say, there is a charge, and that is kind of a deterrent to people. That can be a bit of a con. But the bridges are beautiful, and there's a really wide walking path if you ever want to take a walk, unless you're afraid of heights.
And if you head north on Highway 16, there are several options for ferries. So we have ferry access to Seattle and Vashon Island from multiple spots just north of Gig Harbor. And we do have a wonderful video on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. It's the commuter video. So tons of extra information on that and details if you have any interest. To bring some fresh perspective though, I think it's mostly like the longtime Gig Harbor natives that are complaining about the traffic, because when we talk about traffic on 16 or downtown, you're waiting 4 to 10 minutes here and there, like a couple times a week. So it's bad compared to how it used to be, but overall, if you compare it to anywhere else, it's actually pretty darn good, I'd say.
No, this is true. And another pro to our area is that we have an airport. It's the Tacoma Narrows Airport, but it actually sits on our side of the bridge in Gig Harbor. So if you're really worried about your drive time, just drop your plane.
Yeah.
Just hop on the plane or the helicopter, and you had a video on that too. Check that out on
Gig Harbor Airport on our YouTube channel.
So cost of living in Gig Harbor is not really one we can classify as a pro or a con, because it really depends on where you're coming from. There's certain things that will make it more attractive if you're coming from California, but maybe not from a different state. So drilling down a little bit, we have cost of housing.
Yeah, so for housing, the national average as of now, Q2 2025, and that's $410,000. That's the median home price in the United States. But in Washington State, the median home price is in the mid $600,000 range. In Gig Harbor, the median price is, as of Q2 2025, $826,000.
And that's inclusive of a large area, not just the town of Gig Harbor, but what we know as Gig Harbor. And so that could be certainly a con. But we even know that if you're up in King County and the Seattle Bellevue area, their median home price is well over $1 million. So it is high. We are higher than the national average, but we are certainly lower than our neighbors to the north.
And to jump off what Whitney said, that big area of Gig Harbor includes areas over the Purdy Spit. If you're looking at Gig Harbor without the key pen in mind, that area is $100,000 more. So we're in the $920,000 range for median.
If you eliminate the more rural areas.
And then we have no state income tax in Washington, which most of you probably know. And then sales tax ranges from high 8s to low 9s, so about a 9% sales tax. And then property taxes in Gig Harbor are actually some of the lowest in the state, so that's definitely a pro.
Yeah.
Pierce County and the surrounding Gig Harbor areas are pretty average. They're just a little bit above the average, which is about 1%, so not bad.
So car insurance. I'm going to let Shay take this one. I have 2 teen boy drivers at home. Why don't you tell us about car insurance, Shay?
Well, in Washington State, generally, we have lower car insurance rates because apparently Washington drivers drive slower than the national average, which is hard for me to believe coming from Oregon. I can't drive 55. Anyway, and home insurance rates are generally lower in Washington as well. We just have pretty mild weather and not a ton of natural disasters, so Texas, even Florida, all those other places, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
And they say if Mount Rainier erupts, Gig Harbor isn't going to be in the path, so don't worry.
Why? Sure.
That's a con. Moving on to utilities, mostly pros here. For electricity, obviously lots of rivers, lots of fresh water. So hydroelectricity is abundant. We actually produce more electricity than we consume. So power is relatively cheap here. Water table is great. In Gig Harbor, we have a lot of people drilling wells and have free water once the well is drilled. And then using water from one of our treated systems is on a national average basis, we're under that average. Yeah, very affordable electric and water for sure.
Which is a great thing in natural gas as well.
Mm-hmm.
One thing we do pay a lot for in our region, I feel like more than most, is gas. I feel like when I connect with my friends in Texas and I hear what they pay per gallon, I feel like that's a con in our area. Our gas prices are pretty high.
Yep.
And the groceries, though, on that end, about on the national average. So that's a cost that's pretty much common across the board.
Yeah, but if you are looking for trade works, honestly, come to Gig Harbor because we need some more people in the trades here. It's expensive to get work done here, and there's not a ton of people that are doing it. So
a bit of a shortage in the labor pool for contractors and tradesmen.
So one of the cons that we touched on in our last video as well is that it's just not a very planned neighborhood type city. So you don't have your grid system like we do in Tacoma or some of the surrounding areas. It's more kind of roughed in together roads, organic. It was more organically drawn out. So they had roads out to each end of the harbor, and then they kind of intermingled all the neighborhoods together, and it just wasn't your typical grid system, plan system.
Because of that, too, we see a lot of diversity between the types of homes that can be one next to the other. They're maybe different style, maybe different quality. And I just recently had a couple from Ohio in town, and they found that to be a little surprising because they are from an area where it's just a little bit more cohesive, potentially. So we do have a mixed bag in some areas of Gig Harbor of higher homes and maybe lower end, more affordable homes.
And while our homes are diverse, our culture is not quite as diverse. So that's another thing, again, that we talked about in our last video. We could definitely work on our cultural diversity.
Absolutely. And hopefully when our next video comes out, we'll have better news to report on that. But it's improving, just there's room for more growth. I personally think that the weather that we have here in the greater Gig Harbor area is a pro. We have 4 distinct seasons, nothing too mild, nothing too harsh. While to me it's a pro, others might find it to be a con.
I love our summers. Our summers are hard to beat, but winter here is kind of rough. I'm from Central Oregon, and our winters get a lot of sun. And here in the Gig Harbor, honestly, this part of Washington in general, it's just a little gloomy as a winter does, so bring your vitamin D3.
Yeah, that's important. But we don't, and then there's lack of snow because of that.
Yeah, you definitely have to embrace all seasons if you're going to live here. So during the winter, if it is getting rainy and gloomy, go up to the mountain, go skiing. You're only 1.5 to 3 hours away from a huge variety of mountains.
It's true.
So I love it. I think it's a pro too. I love every season.
Okay, so what's the verdict? Dreamtown or overrated?
Dreamtown. I love it.
Dreamtown.
I would say the same, Dreamtown. Yes, there's some things that can improve, and that's just the case anywhere. But we think that the pros far outweigh the cons. And we would love it if you would comment on the video and share your experiences and what are your pros and cons to Gig Harbor, or what are your questions that we didn't touch on.
And if you do come to town, come sit at our table, come visit us here at the office. We'd love to talk about your dreams and plans for potentially moving here. We are experts, and we'd love to help.
And if you want to learn a little bit why each of us has moved to Gig Harbor or stayed in Gig Harbor, check out our Why I Moved to Gig Harbor videos
on our YouTube, our channel. Thank you so much.
Plumbers are welcome. We need plumbers around here.
Lots.
Yeah, no one has a good plumber.
Can't forget Tarjay.
Sense of history through the fishing
Right,
aspect
right.
of shit, you know what I'm saying? Why can't I talk? Oh.
Check it out on our YouTube page.
Channel.